alarm sounds, and you're there. You were the strength they needed to help rescue and recover after the tragic tornadoes in Alabama. You were the force to tame the wildfires in California. You were the calm in the chaos of Katrina. We love you for what you did on September 11th. It's a noble calling, what all of you do. You know that, and I know that, and the country knows that. Washington's become a place where politics has become a business instead of a mission, where power is always trumping principle, where cynics and lobbyists have turned our government into a game where only they can afford to play, a place where we spend a lot of time keeping score about who's up and who's down, and not enough time rolling up our sleeves and figuring out what to do about better serving our first responders, our veterans, our men and women who are standing guard in Iraq. They need to be coming home soon. Your brothers and sisters and the more than 1.6 million of our best and bravest who've been deployed since 9/11. They say that they support them. They give long speeches about valor and sacrifice. They say the words with a preacher's ease, but when it comes time to send our troops into battle with the proper equipment and ensure that veterans have what they need when they get home, they don't do anything except slap a yellow ribbon on the back of their SUV. When our veterans come home, I don't want them forgotten in rundown buildings. When our veterans come home, I don't want them crawling around a dumpster for food or for shelter. When our veterans come home, I don't want them drowning in whiskey to silence their PTSD. When our veterans come home, I don't want them begging to see a doctor. When our veterans come home, I don't want their wives or mothers or husbands to have to choose between caring for their loved ones or keeping that job. When our veterans come home, I don't want them sitting in a room all alone with tears in their eyes because they can only get voicemail at the VA. I don't want that for our veterans, and you don't want that for our veterans. We know they deserve more. It's time for us to renew a sacred trust with the American people. Last weekend, I was in Iowa, and I took a bus ride with a group of firefighters. We rode together from one event to the next, and I did a lot of listening on that bus as they told me about their concerns. These are concerns that I know all of you experience each and every day. They talked about how cities and towns were expanding around them, and yet as more and more people were moving in, there were fewer and fewer dollars available to hire more firefighters, and because fewer firefighters were having to serve a larger geographical area, more firefighters were placed at risk. Some of our best people may not be able to do the job that they love, fighting fires. They can't afford it. These folks haven't been able to negotiate higher wages for years simply to protect the health care benefits that they already have. What I told them is that if firefighters are putting their lives on the line to save, then it shouldn't cost them the shirts off their backs.